Happy Thursday. How you doing? Good morning, Jabba. Hi, buddy. How you doing? I know how much you look forward to seeing me every day. How's things? Listen, I want to be the first to congratulate you on your 40-pound weight loss. Going from 320 to 280. It's a fucking miracle. I know before when that happened, it was an overnight weight gain. You went from 280 to 320. Because you experimented with your medication your doctor was giving you for water retention, you know. But I can understand that. You know, people at Walmart don't know what they're doing. You had to criticize them. When you take your road trips during your live streams, you criticize every driver around you. They don't know what they're doing. I guess you assume that your doctors don't know what they're doing either. They don't know how to properly prescribe medication to you, so you take it upon yourself to experiment and do it your way. Listen, buddy, I mean no offense, okay? But you've already proven that everything you do your way turns out pretty fucked up, you know what I mean? But hey, your body, your health, your weight. What's your secret? You showed a picture of a scale, 280 and then 0. I could be wrong, but from my understanding, I know about scales, the ones that are pressure sensitive. You know, the plates on the floor, actually they're up off the floor a little bit. Even in some scrap yards, they have the ones where if you got stuff you got in the back of the truck, they put it in a metal hopper, steel hopper, and you notice they have the weights written on them, 280, whatever it is. When they load it onto that pressure plate, they subtract the weight of the hopper. And you got to be careful with those. I know about how those plates work. When I worked at ZAP, that German steel company, steel coils that were processed. It was steel, titanium, copper, brass, nickel, carbon, every type of metal. They range from 1,200 pounds to 36,000 pounds. And they were put on skids made out of oak, a very hard wood. And these were very heavily built. They had a lumber company that used to build them, and they were expensive to build, the cost of them. Like a V, like a cradle, and then the bottom base, and that way they wouldn't roll off, and they were strapped in with metal straps. And it was a plate, and it was all digital. And you had to make sure you put it on the center. First, they'd load the skid on there, and some of them could weigh up to 600 pounds, depending on the size of the coil that could support that weight. And then they get the weight, and they would tear it off right there. So when it was at 0, if that skid weighed 430 pounds, they put minus 430. Then it was put back on the floor. The coil was put on it, put back on the scale, and now you got your accurate weight of the steel itself. And they made sure that had to be completely on that plate. Couldn't be hanging off the edge, because now it throws the weight off. It comes up a little bit light. I've heard tales of people, scrapyards, when they go, they have the ones, you drive your car across it, you load it up, they get the weight of your whole vehicle, and then when it's unloaded, you get back on, you drive off, and now they know. They have the weight of your vehicle loaded up, and now the weight unloaded, and now they know the weight of the metal you unloaded, But I heard tales of people going, the hoppers, and put it in a hopper, and the guy grabs it with a forklift, puts it on the plate, but they leave a little bit hanging off the plate. It comes up white. That's how they kind of cheat you a little bit, you know what I mean? It's not hundreds of dollars, but even if it's 10, 15 bucks, they're coming up white. Hey, they have their ways of, cheating the public. I've heard a lot of tales about that. I know one guy told me, he says, he got wise to it. The guy didn't want to do it. You say, no, you push that over in the center of the plate. Look, you got this bunch of that thing hanging off. And there's a lot of weight there between the hopper itself and the metal that's in there. And the guy gave him a hard time, didn't want to do it. And he insisted and insisted and insisted. The guy finally did it. He says, I'm looking at the scale. And it went up 43 pounds. That was not going to get paid. It was aluminum. He had taken out a pool. It was all aluminum wall, aluminum deck, and all that. So, sometimes, there are ways to do things. My understanding, unless I'm wrong, those old scales. You know, come to think of it, I never had one here. And when I was a kid, almost every house had one in the bathroom, right? Bathroom scale, right next to the clothes hamper. Jabber, I'm surprised you didn't sell that. Made out of metal, you could have got 3 or 4 cents for it. You know, when you sold the olds for scrap, cruiser for scrap, the pool, all those bikes. Heard you even said you sold 3 lawnmowers. One of them was brand new, but you couldn't use them. Because, hey, you said this. Wild animals on your property chewed up all the plastic gas tanks on the lawnmowers, so they all leaked gas. So that's why you had to use a weed whacker to cut your gas. Could have got a few cents for that scale. My understanding, those scales, they're spring loaded. You know what happens when you wind up a spring? It only winds up so far and then it binds and it stops. It's kind of how those scales are built. And that dial that registers the weight is calibrated to the maximum amount of weight it'll take when that spring is now bound up, and it won't register any more weight. That spring is bound up. So it's calibrated to 280 pounds. You know, you could put 400 pounds on that scale. It's still going to read 280. And I know they can be adjusted. I do recall when I was young at my parents' house, kind of like had to step on it twice because that 0 was never right on that line, a little before it, a little after it. And I had that little dial in the front and you turned it. You know the way you set your time on a clock to go ahead, that little dial, you turn it and the hand goes forward or backwards. Did that with the dial. To get it to 0, and then you stepped on it, took your foot off, and that dial would spin up in the air until it finally stopped, and you looked at it. Sometimes still not quite at 0, you adjust it a little bit more, and then you stepped on it, then you get your most accurate reading you're ever going to get with a spring-loaded scale versus a digital sensor scale. Those can be manipulated too. You know, you can set it to 20 pounds before you step on it. I weigh 181. I could get one. I don't need one. We don't have a weight problem here, so we don't need to keep track of our weight. You know what I mean? I know what I weigh twice a year. In fact, in 2 weeks, I go for my second physical with my doctor. I find out how much I weigh and everything. And I could set it to 20 pounds, step on it. Hey, I'm 201 pounds. Or I could back it off 20 pounds below 0. Back it off to 260. Step on it. Hey, look, I lost 20 pounds. I'm only 161. They can be manipulated, but I know you would never do that. I know you would never manipulate a scale. You know, I know you were legit. You were wound up and bound up right at that 280 pound limit. You know what I mean? What's your secret of losing 40 pounds overnight? I know in the past you gained 40 pounds overnight, right? Right? When you experimented with your water retention medication your doctor was giving you, and you know, so now it's going the other way. What's your secret? You need to share your secret of your massive overnight weight loss with other obese people. Don't be selfish. Don't keep it to yourself. Share your wisdom, your knowledge, the way you've shared all your wisdom and knowledge about car engines, auto body restorations, interior restorations. How you've shared all your knowledge and wisdom and ability with everyone here on YouTube when it comes to cars. Do the same with extreme overnight weight loss and help out poor fat bastards like yourself so they will walk better, breathe easier, you know. Congratulations, buddy. I wanted to be the first to congratulate you. Hey, what a friend's for, right? For the rest of you, hope you have a great day. Hope you have fun. Hope you stay safe.